with the biggest game of the day and one of the more intriguing games of the entire weekend, guys. Michigan State and Illinois. Number 12, Sparty hangs on to beat Illinois 80-78 in East Lansing. Illinois was up by as many as, I think it was 10 points in the first half. There were some foul issues that happened. We had some Kylan Boswell questionable decisions down the stretch of that game. But overall, it's going to sound weird to say this. I came away more impressed with the team that lost and fell 3 games behind the team that won in the Big Ten regular season standings. Sweeney, is that a crazy take to have about Michigan State's 80-78 win over Illinois?
I don't think it's crazy. I mean, I thought Illinois was incredibly resilient. Like the way that they battled Kasperi Shakashonis in foul trouble, right? We could talk about the whistles, and I think at least 2 of those foul calls were really tough calls to make in the game, especially with the way that the game was officiated. Like I think it was really hard for him to get the second one and then the fourth one. And I know people quibble with the third too, but for them to battle the way they did, I mean, to go down 6 at the final media timeout of the Tech and continue to fight back and have an opportunity to win the game in the final minute, like unbelievably impressed with the way that they fought. Thought Will Riley was huge in the first half, and it was the type of game he needed. He has really struggled lately, but who has seen him play knows how talented he is as a scorer, and that started to come through. I thought Merez Johnson was phenomenal and really gave him a lift, especially in the second half around the basket, gave him some toughness. So, look, refs or not, Illinois had opportunities to win this game. 5 for 24 from 3, 10 missed free throws. Like, that's the difference. Illinois makes his free throws and shoots a normal day from 3. They go on the road in East Lansing and beat a top 10 Michigan State Spartans team without Kasperi Shakashonis. To me, that's really impressive. But hats off to Michigan State. They found a way to win. Got a lot of good basketball from a lot of different people.
RC?
Listen, I agree with you on that. The only thing I'd add to it is people are critical of Boswell in one way, you talk about some questionable decisions. To me, I think if he gets aggressive to get in the paint with the attention he draws and the physical nature that he plays with to get to the foul line, he's naturally looking to give up shots. I think he gets himself in trouble with some of his turnovers just being too tentative. I just think he's just too uncertain, caught in the middle. He's not even looking to score. I think he needs to be more aggressive, necessarily to shoot, but just get in the paint, particularly when they're missing some guys or they're missing anybody on the floor, or just when they get stagnant on the offensive end. I think he's a hell of a point guard. I think he's overcompensating too much. They got a really good team, a lot of good players surrounding him. I just would have liked to see him a little bit more aggressive. I know people are going to question that last turnover. The idea was good. He nearly hit him in the face with the ball. I don't even put that on his head. That's not his.
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of a touch on that pass somehow, some way.
No.
I don't think you could throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball 3 feet away from a big man who's got hands.
Tell bigs to get their hands out their pockets, man. You can't sit there and be sitting there with your hands in your pocket and I'm passing you the ball. I'm speaking from experience. When I throw you the ball and they go, if it hit him in his chin, he wouldn't have caught it. So I ain't gonna let y'all do that to him. I'm a defender.
No, look, you have a point there. That sounds like someone that's been yelled at by a big man before.
Yes.
So
you look at the stats. I'm like, I got 5 turnovers. I'm trying to pass you the ball, Rob. That's why I got 5 turnovers.
Those passes aren't coming anymore when that happens. I will say this, like, I think that there's an argument to be made that Yakashonis is the most valuable player in the Big Ten. And the reason why I say that is because outside of him, RC, it feels like everybody else on Illinois plays a role and fills a role and does a job that you need to be able to make Kasparas Yakashonis be as effective as possible. You get the secondary playmaker and the floor spacer, and most importantly, the guy that can really, really guard in Kai Boswell next to him, right? You have the pick and pop big in Ivasic, and you have the rim running big in Morris Johnson. You have a guy that can space it in Ben Humricus and in Will Riley. You could play a little booty ball with Ben Humricus. Trey Wright is like the jack of all trades, your quintessential glue guy, roll guy, complementary piece. And I love what Dre Gibbs Lawhorn brings. But all of those guys to me are role pieces. So when you have KJ get taken out of a game because of 2.5 fouls that probably weren't fouls that may or may not have actually happened, to me that really changes the dynamic of what Illinois is, and they still almost found a way to win at Michigan State, who, by the way, I think is really damn good this year.
They are, but you answered your own question. They nearly went into East Lansing without him and almost won the game. So I think that we're looking to give him too much credit and the rest of the team not enough credit. I think it's more of an identity of how they played today. You know what? I would have agreed with you prior to this game. And then this game happens, and I'm like, well, man, they're good enough to go on the road, against an undefeated team in conference and nearly come out with a win. I thought should have come out with the win. Then that lessens your argument, but I understand it.
Sweeney?
Look, I don't want to have this conversation and not talk about what Michigan State did because I thought they were impressive. I thought they're a very opportunistic basketball team, and I thought Illinois opened some doors for them, especially in the second half when I think they felt KJ's absence a little longer. And took some forced threes. And once they force those threes, those long rebounds come out, and here come the Spartans running. And they are as good a team in transition as you will see basketball. Like, they are clinical when they get those opportunities. And, all of a sudden you look up and a 2-point lead for Illinois is a 7-point lead for Michigan State, right? Like, they're able to swing games so quickly with their pace. And I think especially on their home court, like the atmosphere just builds and builds and builds, and it gets really, really difficult. So, I thought what they did in transition was special. I thought for them to win a game when Akins is 3 for 10 from the field was pretty impressive. I thought Jackson Kohler's ability to post score and hit those middies was critical in the game. And Cohen Carr in transition was absolutely massive, right? Again, I think the recipe for Michigan State this year is going to be a lot of good basketball from a lot of different people. Like, they're not going to be able to rely one night and say, yes, we are 100% getting 17 from Trey Holloman or 17 from Jaden Akins or 17 from Jackson Kohler. But they just come at you in waves with different bodies who are competitive. They play balls to the wall when they're on the floor. And that makes them a tough out. Again, are they as talented as Illinois? I don't think so, right? But I think they have a real opportunity to win this Big Ten because they're going to protect their home court. They're going to be great in transition, and they can win games despite their lack of 3-point shooting. And that, to me, is a P over a 20-game sample. Now, what does it translate to in March? I think we'll see.
RC, you can speak to this too. The thing that defines Tom Izzo basketball to me is kicking ass on the glass and beating everybody down the floor in transition. It's those two things, right? You end possessions on one end, you get extra possessions on the other end, and you're able to get easy shots because you run faster than the other team. And I think that the sequence that stands out to me more than anything else when it comes to Michigan State and specifically this game was Trey White got fouled on a 3. Illinois was down by 3. He goes to the line, makes the first, misses the second, misses the third. Michigan State, off of a missed free throw, gets a 2-on-1 break and gets a lob to Cohen Carr. They come down. Illinois comes down the other end, misses another shot. You get another fast break for I forget who. I think it was Trey Holloman. Got all the way to the rim, went coast to coast, and finished a layup. And all of a sudden, a chance in about 30 seconds, a chance that Illinois had to tie the game, turned into a 6-point Michigan lead, and that building is going absolutely nuts. And the most important part is all of those guys on the Michigan State roster are bought into that idea that if we do all of this stuff and play really, really hard and the ball doesn't stick and we get out and run and rebound and we just get tough and physical and play Tom Izzo basketball, we're going to win a lot of games. I'm really impressed with I shouldn't be though. Like the culture and the buy-in and all the stuff that makes Michigan State basketball exists this year.